Hi all. This reading is for March the 5th, 2019. It's for any and all signs. It's really a reading for the collective. However, seeing that these daily readings are timeless, it might apply tomorrow or soon if it doesn't apply to you today, and if today's message does not resonate with you at all, then it might be a daily lunar pull on a different date that resonates with you. I hope everyone is enjoying the beginning of March so far, Pisces season so far. We've got the Four of Wands reversed as our first card out. This is a message for someone who doesn't feel entirely comfortable in their home or family life at this time. Maybe specifically when you see the Four of Wands reversed because you've missed some type of family event, something like that. Maybe as a result of just having too many options as to what to spend your time on. Being confused about where your focus should be. It is Pisces season. Seven of Cups there in the root of the situation is a Piscean energy, a Piscean type of card. That, again, confusion, too many options, lost in fantasy, having high hopes for many things at once. Really needing to get in touch with the authentic you. What do you want? Who do you want to be? The Seven of Cups also asks the question, do you need to make a decision as to what your focus is right now? Does it have to be decided now? In some way, shape, or form, it speaks to somebody being lost in altered states. Now, that can be drugs, alcohol, that can be burying yourself in the feelings of being in love, indulging in that, or just indulging in something else that's fantasy to you, that indulges your fantastical side, really. So it could be a different addiction like sugar or television. And then we have the Six of Cups more recently. Interesting. So you've had a lot on your mind. Someone's had a lot on their mind, a lot of options, maybe to the extent of being in altered states, whether that is intentionally self-induced, like I said, with drugs or alcohol, or just altered states because you're lost in memories, because you're lost in love, or just your own fantasies about what you want your future to look like, what you want your life to look like, your partner, and maybe because you don't want to deal with all of the options and decisions on the table, you're reading your favorite fantasies, or like I said, watching your favorite movies or television shows and losing yourself and indulging in fantasy that way. But in any case, it led you to feeling nostalgic about someone. You had lots of options, choices, lots of fantasy to distract yourself with, but you ended up, it ended up making you think of someone from your past. Interesting. I was just thinking of doing a pick a card reading soon. That's going to be speaking to what's going on with someone that you're interested in from your past. 44 may be particularly significant to you today, or when this message resonates, when it applies for you. But that nostalgia, it looks like that nostalgia is what led to, like I said, originally feeling uncomfortable in your own home or family life. So maybe you're with one person, but you're thinking about someone else. Or you're just not comfortable relaxing in your own home or with family because you're so distracted by whomever you're thinking about from your past. You may have even received a gift from them, or it may just be the gift of these memories that are showing when you see the Six of Cups upright. Some of you actually had the opportunity to go and see whomever it was that you were thinking about, and because you have so much else on your plate, so much else to distract yourself with, to think about. So many options, like we said, about where to put your focus and your time, that you didn't end up going and seeing them. It was some sort of family or friends who are like family event, and you could have seen this person and you didn't. Chose to just stay in the memories and nostalgia. But I think for most of you, going and seeing that person you were thinking about may have been why you missed some sort of family event, or again, why you're just not feeling comfortable without them in your present moment. And at the same time, you're crossed with something that's making you're meeting something today, whenever this resonates, that's making you very happy when we see the Sun card upright. So like I said, you have a lot going on, a lot of distractions, a lot of options, which makes that make sense for me. There's something one of those things is making you uncomfortable, likely this person that you're thinking about from your past. But there are other things that are making you truly, authentically very happy. Like I said, in the root of the situation, when you see the Seven of Cups, it's often an indication that you need to get in touch with the authentic you. You need to make sure you're being your authentic self. And then when I see the Sun card upright as what's crossing you now, I want to say you figured that out. You know which focus area, which option among these that you have to focus your time and energy on allows you to express your authentic self, which one makes you feel like you, whether it's this person from your past or not. You may just leave them a memory, even though it looks like they are why you're not feeling totally comfortable, totally happy or secure. Do they fit into your big picture, the big picture of your life, the big plan that you have for yourself? Is the question with the Four of Wands reversed. Are you losing sight of the big picture? Some of you may be. Some of you may be so lost in nostalgia. And yet with the Sun crossing you, I still think you're going to find yourself. I think you are. I think you're going to get back in touch with that authentic you. Because you can feel it happening, and you don't want to lose sight of the big picture. We talked about all the ways that someone might distract themselves, lose themselves in fantasy. Some of you with the Four of Wands in reverse here are actually just procrastinating. Like you've asked yourself, do I need to make a decision about what my focus area is right this second? And you've answered, no, I don't. I need to just allow my mind to wander, allow myself to fantasize, allow myself to think about what I want. And while you're doing so, you're procrastinating with the activity of doing housework, cleaning, things like that when you see the Four of Wands reverse, which can sometimes be a negative thing if it's nothing but procrastination. But I'm really feeling from this reading like that's actually a great way for you to spend your time. Like I'm feeling this is reading this for someone who's actually, the way this is playing out so far is it's someone who's asking and answering their own questions. And this is really just giving you a sense of confirmation here. Yeah, and this is great. The outcome of the situation by the end of the day, or whenever this situation falls out, allowing yourself that time to think and fantasize and clean, maybe, and maybe indulge. Maybe you're having some caffeine while you clean, or you're smoking a joint while you clean, or you're having a beer while you clean. Maybe some indulgence. Maybe you're taking a break and watching your favorite show or movie. That's fine too. Not that I'm here to tell you what's fine and not fine for you, but I mean, it's a good energy that I'm feeling. It's a positive, productive energy, because in the outcome, we've got the Eight of Wands. We've got expedited progress. And if what you're wanting is communication with this person from your past who you're feeling nostalgic about, who's possibly one of the many things that's distracting you at this time, it looks like an opportunity for a lot of communication with someone here in the outcome after some meditation. So you've been confused, maybe confused, but you've been certainly distracted. You've been very aware of all of your options, all of the places you could put your energy. And one of the things that came up, it is Mercury retrograde. That makes absolute sense. One of the things that recently came up, either in the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde or today as it actually goes retrograde, as we actually pass it, right? You've got this you've got this Six of Cups energy. So one of the many things of all of the daydreams that came up was this person from your past. Maybe you received a gift from them, maybe not. Some did, a few did, most didn't. And like I said, in that case, it's just the gift of the nostalgia, the memories that's showing up. But in any case, it's just making you feel a little insecure in your home and your family life. Maybe even for some of you, again, missing a family event because there's so much on your mind. So for some of you, feeling extremely emotional related to these options, related to this person who's coming up. But in any case, like I said, you're asking these questions. Do I need to decide what to do about it right now? And you're answering yourself no. Asking yourself, does this person fit into the big picture of my life? Some of you are able to answer. Some of you are still telling yourselves, I don't need to answer that question right now. I don't need to know. And in any case, you realize, I don't want to lose touch with the big picture, with what's important to me. And so I'm going to focus on my home. Even if this is procrastination, I'm going to make sure my environment looks good. Or your external or your internal environment. Or for some of you, it's both. Some of you are saying, okay, I'm going to focus on cleaning the house and procrastinate, if that's what you want to call it, in that way. Some of you are taking care of your internal environment, saying, I'm going to allow myself to get lost in fantasy and to go over all my options and see, do they fit in my life, or see where I want to focus my energy. And in either case, whether you're focusing on external or internal, or like I said, both for some people, focusing on your setting, your environment, is leading you to figuring out, okay, this is the authentic me. This is what really truly matters to me, makes me happy. For some of you, realizing like this is what greatness looks like to me. Because being your authentic self, that authentic version, is the greatest version of you, is the happiest version of you. And it's bringing you true happiness. It's making you feel truly accomplished. Or maybe part of the nostalgia is combing over your own accomplishments. And once you've realized that sense of greatness, like, I can be so confused and lost in memory, and during Mercury retrograde, and my environment can be a mess, and I can feel like my mind and or my home is disorganized and uncomfortable, and still I can find me. I can get back in touch with, okay, what's first? What do I want to take care of first? What's my number one priority? What's my number two? I can ask myself the tough questions. Who fits in my life? What do I need to focus my energy on? And I can give myself the real answers. And that, that in of itself is the greatness I think you're realizing here with the Sun card, and the true happiness. But you do still need to go into a period of rest and meditation after you realize that, especially if you want to have communication with this person from your past. You don't need anybody else's opinions necessarily in this space, maybe before or after going into this space. But when you're in this soldier after battle type of energy that the Four of Swords shows us, it's your time to be in solemn meditation and contemplation, and to just ask those questions to yourself, like we've been talking about. At the same time, I think some of you may want to see this communication with this person, because we have the Lovers card on the bottom of the deck. This is about a lengthy entanglement, maybe a soul contract, if that speaks to you. Someone who you had a very deep and lengthy bond with when we see the Lovers card. Perhaps a Gemini, for some, who's particularly significant to you, but certainly this was the type of bond where trust was at least implied, a commitment was at least implied, and in some way, shape, or form, there is a lengthy entanglement here. Even if you haven't seen each other for a while, it's leaving you sort of at a standstill now that Mercury retrograde has come up and is making you think about them, because your souls are still intertwined for a lot of you. There was a soul contract for a lot of you, and it's making it so you're not seeing everything clearly. But a lot of you that this message is for, it's Mercury retrograde. You know what that does to you, to a lot of us, and you are aware that your memories of this person are just that. That is a memory of who you believed them to be, not necessarily an accurate account of who they actually were or are, right? But it's at the same time, it's making it so you can't focus on what you have to do currently, it's making it so you can't focus on the other opportunities you're being offered currently. There's a reason why you can't make this choice of what to focus on, and you don't want to, and you'd rather focus on your internal environment or your external environment and sort of cleaning that up and getting that organized, your thoughts and or your space. Often organizing our space helps to get our thoughts organized, right? Some of us. That there's a reason why. It's because this person meant so much to you. It's because you're hoping for that to come back around. But I strongly feel that your advice here is to acknowledge that this came to an end, and it came to an end for a reason. It is over with that person. It is done. No one has been taking any action, making any hard choices about it for a while, because the decision was made. It came to a painful ending. It's done. If it wasn't extremely painful for you, then I'm getting the feeling and the message that it certainly was for them. So yeah, it's, that doesn't mean you can never talk to them again. Again, I think that once you realize you can still get in touch with the authentic you, as crazy as your mind and or home life may feel at this time, as unstable, as uncomfortable, ungrounded, unhappy as it may feel, like I said, you can get in touch with what you want, what you need, who you want to be, and what your number 1, I'd say your number 1, 2, and 3 priorities are. And just looking at from that space, do they fit into this picture? Now, oftentimes I'm giving messages that I don't exactly know why I'm giving them, right? So what I see here, what I can tell you is that it is over. It did end. A cycle came to a close. A painful, negative cycle came to a painful ending. Again, painful for someone, if not for you. That decision has been made, and that's why no action has been taken. I see expedited progress in the outcome. That doesn't mean that it can't start again. But you need to acknowledge, the advice is to acknowledge that it ended, and it ended for a reason. The closure was had, the decision was made, and for a reason. It's likely that this communication, I saw the 5 of Swords underneath of here as well, it's likely that this communication would lead to some sort of a fight between the two of you, an argument, not necessarily a physical fight, I mean a verbal argument, which I think is why this step here in the near future is so important, going within and doing this, this solemn meditation, contemplating the situation in solitude, total silence and solitude. Well, not total silence, you can have your music on, I guess, but I mean, no opinions from the peanut gallery, no outside influences helping you make the decision about how to communicate if you're going to. Certainly progress is expedited. You are going to decide what those priorities are and where you want your focus to be. It might be for some of you that you decide, we'll get one more card here. It might be for some of you that you decide that you want to go back and talk to this person. You want things to at least end in a different light, in a different way, because that 10 of Swords is a very painful ending. So you may at least want to speak to them again, even if it doesn't start up again, doesn't go anywhere. I don't really see that happening. It's actually a scenario where I kind of see that you had something intense with somebody before, and you really are just meant to be friends moving forward. Maybe that's all you ever were. Maybe it was, if it was a friendship that came to a painful end, or a sort of family relation and dynamic that came to a painful end, then certainly, that phase of the two of you interacting in that way has come to an end. But you could start the relationship in a different format now. If you were lovers, if it was romantic, I feel like it's going to the same place, where it's either done and you're not going to speak to them, you're going to choose to make progress in other areas, or if you do get back in touch with them, it's going to that friendship type of place, just like it would for messages who are for people who weren't in a romantic contract, so to speak. That's just the feeling that I'm getting from it. That's just the feeling that I get from it. You admired each other very much. You loved each other very much. You were in a lengthy soul contract, but the ending was so painful that in one or both of your minds, the decision has been made. There may be communication. There may be a friendship, but I think that that's the extent of it. Because if there is communication, if you're thinking of a Virgo energy specifically, I think there will be some communication with them. If it's a Leo that you're thinking of, or a Virgo, I think there will definitely be communication. But the signs don't necessarily need to resonate. We all have every energy in our charts somewhere, and it could be anywhere in their charts or yours. So don't get too hung up on the signs. And see, here we have on the bottom of the deck now, new or renewed love. But if you're hoping for a restart, whether it was romantic, friendship, family, otherwise, if you're hoping for a redo, a restart in the relationship, in the bond, it's very important. Like I said, I don't always know why I'm delivering the message, but it's very important to acknowledge that it did end, and painfully for someone or both people, and there was a reason why. The choice has been made, no action has been taken because that ending was so painful. And also, I think there's a continued encouragement throughout the reading that you do not need to make the decision right now. If you have other things you need to focus on, other work you need to do, again, your home environment, your internal mental environment, other places where you really need to focus attention, and that internal mental environment is certainly important when the Four of Swords shows up, then you need not pressure yourself into deciding right this second if they are the person for you or a person who fits into the big picture of your life. Maybe some communication needs to be had, and some progress, some personal progress in both of your lives needs to be made before you can both really answer that question. And with the Two of Swords reverse and the Seven of Cups, I see twice this encouragement of asking yourself the question, do I need to decide right now? We can drive ourselves crazy thinking that we need to come to a conclusion, an answer to a question, especially when you're in a space like you are of, like I said, being able to ask yourself the tough questions and answer them yourselves, and coming to a reading like this more for confirmation than anything else. It can drive you crazy if there's one question of the tough questions that for some reason you can't answer. That doesn't mean that it has to be answered right now. Okay? It does not need to necessarily be answered right now. If you're thinking of this person simply because it's Mercury retrograde, and I think that's going to happen for a lot of us, and yet you don't want to get back in touch with them, or you don't think it's appropriate, you don't think there's a point, you see that it would just be a fight, then you're going to make expedited progress, leaps and bounds in your own life, in your own home, in your own family, your own passion projects. You're gonna focus, like I said, on what makes you feel truly happy, like you're being your authentic self, like you're creating in the world what you were meant to, and then you're gonna need a period of rest afterward. There's this double continued encouragement. The Two of Swords reversed and the Seven of Cups upright are saying, do you have to answer this question right now? And then the Four of Swords and the Hermit card coming up are saying, whether you answered yes or no to that, can you give yourself a mental break right now? They're actually saying you need to. You're going to expend a lot of mental energy on these memories and these choices, whether you come up with answers or not. And you are going to not only deserve, but literally need to give your mind a break afterward. Whatever kind of progress you make, whatever kind of communication you decide to have or not have. You need to rest, go within. You can continue to ask yourselves the questions. I would encourage you to continue to pose the questions to yourself in different ways if you didn't come up with the answers that you were wanting. Of course, I can always do a private reading with you. You scroll down to the description box, check out your options and your links there. I'm happy to help if I can, if we can expand on this further in a more detailed way for any individuals. I love to do it. But, like I said, a lot of you are asking yourself the tough questions and you're answering them. And there's this encouragement that you don't have to answer them all right now. And whether you do or not, you should give yourself a mental break, a rest, time for meditation. And again, time away from other people, just on your own, reflecting on the progress you've made in your life, your relationships. Again, going back to the same basic questions of who it is you want to be and what you want your life to look like, but on your own, without the influence of other people encroaching on your personal choices and beliefs. So with that said, with that long daily reading, I will leave it in your capable hands from that point forward. Thank you so much for supporting Lunartics Tarot and all the ways that you all do. It's so appreciated. I hope that you make wise choices for yourselves moving forward. Don't allow any of this to make your life feel determined in any way. It is a glimpse of the path that we are on now. And like I said, it might apply at different times for different people. It might be a message on a different day that's meant for you. I love you all, and I will post another daily lunar pool for you tomorrow.